Thanks for joining us on episode 3 of This Week in Massachusetts Theater. If you're just tuning in, this program is designed to showcase the many terrific theater companies and entertainment venues providing great shows throughout the state. So we're starting to take the training wheels off a little bit at a time, but I still need to get a little bit more comfortable at doing this. So please bear with me as I try to improve and make this podcast grow. This week, we're going to be adding in reviews. Now, while I had hoped to include all of my latest reviews. For the sake of time, I had to narrow it down a bit. But if you want to see all the METRMag reviews, simply go to METRMag.com and take a look at the shows covered in just the past few weeks, including 3 recent productions of The Savannah Disputation at Burlington Players, Passengers over at the ART in Cambridge, and the fabulous musical Once over in West Springfield. The reviews I've focused on for this week's podcast are The Minutes from Studio Theater Worcester, Triumph of Love over at AFD in Arlington, Joy Behar's My First Ex-Husband over at the BCA Calderwood by the Huntington Theater in Boston, and Feather Baby over in Stoneham, courtesy of the Greater Boston Stage Company. So take a look, and afterwards we'll preview some upcoming shows and auditions. Then I'll be back at the end with some news about next week's very special episode that you won't want to miss. So enjoy. The Huntington Theater presents the hilarious My First Ex-Husband, a debut play from comedian and View host Joy Behar that premiered off-Broadway in New York City just this past February. The show is both funny and revealing, and the 4 performers involved bring their A-game to the stage as they read from pages in a comfortable 4-person panel room staging. Those familiar enough with Comic-Cons will get that reference. The rest of you, just punt. Behar has a reputation for being unfiltered, speaking her mind, speaking the truth, and forever speaking over fellow View co-hosts Sunny, Whoopi, Anna, Alyssa, and Sarah. Stop that, by the way, Joy. Yet when Behar speaks, everyone listens, and she has a lot to say here, and so do the people whose true stories she has affectionately and respectfully brought to the stage. So when you attend My First Ex-Husband, listen intently so you don't miss a word. Sharing the stage with Behar is an accomplished group of performers. V.Ann Cox, nominated for an Emmy for Indoor Boys, also appearing in You've Got Mail, and Erin Brockovich. 2-time Emmy winner Judy Gold, shared for her contribution to the Rosie O'Donnell Show, and the multi-award-winning performer Tanya Pinkins, who has appeared on All My Children, Fear of the Walking Dead, and in the film Enchanted. The week that Behar is off for My First Ex-Husband, which is September 19th through the 21st, audiences will be equally entertained by critically acclaimed actress Jackie Hoffman, nominated for both an Emmy and a Critics' Choice Award for her appearance in the movie Feud. Hoffman is also known to many, this reviewer included, that have enjoyed watching her as the combative, acerbic, foul-mouthed Uma Heller, a recurring character on Hulu's Only Murders in the Building. At 90 minutes with no intermission, My First Ex-Husband continues at the BCA Calderwood, 527 Tremont Street in Boston through September 28th, and because the laughs come fast and furious, unfortunately some of the dialogue might be missed over the audience responses. No problem. Just go see the show again. For tickets and more information, contact Huntington Theater Company online at huntingtontheater.org, by phone at 617-266-0800, or in person at the Huntington Theater, 264 Huntington Avenue, Boston. Studio Theater Worcester is back in session with an intense, penetrating look into local politics. No, wait, don't run away yet. And clandestine dealings in The Minutes. This is a stimulating and vitally important piece which should be seen over and over and over again to remind us all that all politics is local politics. The one-act Minutes comes from August Osage County author, Pulitzer Prize and Tony Award winner Tracy S. Letts. Without question, This is my favorite play from the last 10 years at least. This is a prodigiously crafted tale, well executed by the STW Ensemble under the council leadership of Mitch Kilios. In my best Rod Serling tone, picture, if you will, the single set design of a typical city, town, or town hall governance room that has many imperfections. The walls have weathered cracks. The wallpaper is wearing tissue paper thin. The spacing for where the representatives sit is sorely limited, resulting in them bumping into walls as each one stands or sits. And above all their heads are the clocks that do not work, as if time itself has been forever stilled. These design imperfections found in this room are intentionally symbolic of the imperfections and overwhelming stagnation found in most governing bodies, which, in concept itself, is symbolic of the varied imperfections and stagnation found in their constituencies. Every single performance in the minutes is methodical, on point, and even as certain events take a bizarre turn, it does not diminish from the overall impact of multiple revelations as the story progresses. Approximately 90 minutes with no intermission, Tracy Letts The Minutes continues at the Black Box Theater at the Worcester Academy Performance Center, 15 Marion Street in Worcester, until September 21st, and absolutely, without any debate, this is one meeting you won't want to miss before it gets out of session. For tickets and more information, call the box office at 508-556-0576 or visit Studio Theater Worcester at studiotheaterworcester.org. We are adjourned. AFD Theater launches its 103rd season with the musical adaptation of the Marivaux comedy Triumph of Love, and it's a pleasing romp through a very unusual garden. Written by Pierre Calais Duchamblain de Marivaux, Triumph of Love is a French farce, with this particular musical adaptation put forth by a book by James Magruder, lyrics by Susan Birkenhead, and music by Jeffrey Stock. The AFD Theater musical production has been skillfully staged by director Paul Murphy, supplemented with some clever choreography by Caroline Hubbard. Toward the rear of the AFD stage sits an impressive orchestra supporting the Triumph of Love performers and ably guided by conductor and music director Catherine Denny. The structure of the musical focuses squarely on the antics of this talented ensemble who collectively give their best effort. Just a reminder that this story was written in 1732, so don't seek out any woke messaging, you won't find any. That said, much of the story still holds up, even with its rather archaic, silly, and simplistic premise. The basic set design of the garden is not only visually appealing, it is accommodating of the orchestra along the back, and is also effective, allowing for the ease of transitions throughout. The varied period costumes, wigs, and hairstylings is also worthy of high praise for the AFD theater production staff. The first act tends to loiter, winding up with a set fidgeting 90 minutes, but this feels more of an issue with the overall construct of the show rather than a pacing issue, as the pacing for the September 13th performance was completely satisfactory. Clocking in at 2 hours 30 minutes with one intermission, Triumph of Love continues at AFD Theater in Arlington until September 28th and is completely played in the intended spirit of good fun for which the audience can simply sit back and enjoy. For more information or tickets, contact AFD Theater at www.afdtheater.org/buy-tickets or by calling the box office at 781-646-5922 or emailing boxoffice@afdtheater.org. Greater Boston Stage Company, GBSC, soars into fall with a flight of fancy comedy that is sure to tickle every feathered and non-feathered bone alike with Feather Baby. David Templeton's brand new comedy, Feather Baby, lands in Stoneham at GBSC with an outlandish premise, an amazing set, and a lot of laughs. GBSC director Waylon Symes takes full advantage of the premise, resulting in a lavish comedy which begins from a source of mutual contention and conflict to a place of mutual compassion and trust. This is a play told via the POV of Feather Baby, played by Paul Melende, a raucous, riotous, and completely raunchy Amazon parrot. Melendi's performance as Feather Baby is not only brilliantly hilarious, but if you are a parrot owner or a bird owner in general, he will actually have you convinced the actor is indeed this foul creature. There are bird mannerisms which Melendi leans into, which are astonishingly accurate. Above all else, Feather Baby is crude, rude, and completely obnoxious, and audiences will just adore this over-the-top performance. Approximately 1 hour 40 minutes with one intermission. Feather Baby is only in Stoneham at GBSC until September 28th, so make sure to catch this bird before it takes flight to other parts unknown. For tickets, contact the box office at 781-279-2200 or visit box office at greaterbostonstage.org. Taking a quick look at upcoming shows, Jonathan Larson's groundbreaking musical Rent starts up at North Shore Music Theater in Beverly, while Larry Shue's The Nerd will be presented by the Stratton Players in Fitchburg. Down in Worcester, folks can enjoy John Patrick Hanley's Doubt, a Parable, courtesy of the THT Rep. In Boston, Katori Hall's The Mountaintop from Front Porch Arch Collective will be performed at the Suffolk University Modern Theater, while Thornton Wilder's Our Town will be on stage over at the Lyric Stage Company. Down in Providence, there will be two great shows coming up. First, with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at Providence Performing Arts Center, and then nearby, the Gillen Street Ensemble musical From Here to Where will be happening at Wilbury Theater Group. For more information on all of these shows, visit the METRMag site at METRMag.com. Here's a look at some auditions coming up over the next few weeks. Thornton Wilder's Our Town at Worcester County Light Opera Company. Audition dates September 14th and 16th with callbacks on September 20th. Eldon Schwartz, A Candle in the Window at Gateway Players in Southbridge, Mass., September 19th and 20th at 6:30 p.m. Mark Camoletti's Don't Dress for Dinner at Barnstable Comedy Club in Barnstable, Mass. Audition dates October 27th and 28th from 7 to 9. Callbacks if needed October 30th from 7 to 9. Finally, there's Enchanted April by Matthew Barber and East Hampton Theater Company in East Hampton, Mass. Audition dates November 10th and 12th by appointment only with callbacks on November 19th, 2025. For more information, click on the links at the auditions page located on the METRMag site. Again, if you don't see your group or show covered, please send the info to reviews@metrmag.com. And I won't beg much, but if you feel like what we're doing is worthwhile and a benefit to the theater community in Massachusetts, we will never refuse a generous donation made to reviews@metrmag.com. Now, for next week's episode, this is really exciting. We'll have a few more reviews and a look at more shows coming up as we ramp up into high gear this latest season. Also, I just did my very first Zoom interview with two major rock legends, Mickey Thomas, lead vocalist for Starship, and Roger Earl, drummer and founding member of the iconic Boogie Kings, Foghat. Slow ride themselves. We had a terrific chat, so I hope you'll come back next time and will continue to return to us as we all look forward to the coming weeks in Massachusetts theater. Thank you and bye-bye.